Hello, this is Brad. I am one of your consumer technology specialists here at Mid-Continent Public Library, and welcome to Navigating with MapQuest. MapQuest is a free online service that allows anyone to access step-by-step directions. Today, we will be looking at how to use MapQuest to map out a route, print directions, and explore a destination area using MapQuest's various features. Let's go ahead and get started. First, we need to choose an internet browser. Today, I will be using Google Chrome. And then we will need to navigate to MapQuest.com. Here we are on MapQuest's website. You might notice some white blocks. Those are areas where there might be ads. I did my best to try to block these out, but from time to time you may see an ad appear, so just be aware of that. I wanted us to be able to focus on the map feature. The first thing we are going to do is enter our destination into this search bar up here. Today, we are going to be navigating to the Midwest Genealogy Center of Mid-Continent Public Library. And I don't need to know the address. I can just start typing Midwest Genealogy Center, and MapQuest will give me some suggestions as I type. And below there, we see those different suggestions coming up. And that first suggestion is actually the one that we want. That is the Midwest Genealogy Center of Mid-Continent Public Library. And so I'm going to click on that, and then it will bring up the Midwest Genealogy Center. I see it over here on the right-hand side with this map, and I can zoom in and out of this map by using these plus and minus signs right here. If I click the minus sign, I can zoom out and see where the center is in relation to the Kansas City area. And then I can zoom back in as well. And currently we have the map view on MapQuest. We see the different streets and highways. If I click this button right here, that will show me an actual satellite view of this same area. This is an actual satellite image of the Midwest Genealogy Center and the surrounding area. If I look over here on the left-hand side, I can see more information about the Midwest Genealogy Center. I see the address right there. Also below that, I see the phone number and the website and some more information as well. If I scroll down, I see a little synopsis about the center. I might see some photos. There I see the hours. Below that, I see a link to the website. And then underneath of that, I see related places. These could be libraries or tourist attractions in this instance. Now I'm going to scroll back up to the top of this section. And I am going to look at some nearby amenities. We have hotels, food, shopping, coffee, groceries, and gas. I am going to look at hotels real quick. And now over here on the left-hand side, I have a list of hotels that are nearby the Midwest Genealogy Center. And if these hotels are within my current map area, If I hover over them, we should see the little dancing icon. There we see it over there. It'll let me know the location of that hotel in relation to the Midwest Genealogy Center. I can do the same thing for food. If I worked up an appetite doing some genealogy research, I might need to get some food. And so I can scroll down this menu to see what is nearby. And like I said, there's shopping, coffee, grocery, and gas as well. Right now, I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to go back once more. And so now we are actually going to look at getting directions. We are going to do that by clicking this big green directions button right here. In order to get directions, I will need to enter a starting point. For this example, I will put an address in Parkville. And as I type, it will guess my starting point. And I can click on that if it got the starting point correct. And now I can see my route from Parkville to the Midwest Genealogy Center. We see that over here on the map. That darker blue line, that is my route. They are calling that route number 1. And from this little timestamp, I can see that it'll take me about 32 minutes. Over here on the left-hand side, if I scroll down, we see that I have some route options. This is route number 1, which will take me 32 minutes and is about 26 miles. Below that, I even see the IRS reimbursement. If I worked for a company that reimbursed mileage and I was driving between these two locations for work, I could get reimbursed. And below that, we have the View Route Directions button. This is going to show us those step-by-step directions. And I can scroll down to see those. And if I wanted to print these, I will click the print button right here. And then this is a sort of print preview area. I can see all the step-by-step directions. And I see this big map too. If I press this print button, it will pull up my printer's print preview options. And this shows me how those directions will print out. We see I have this first page and then this second page. And I have the big giant map on this third page, which I don't really think will be very useful, and it will take a lot of ink. So I'm actually not going to print that page. And to do that, I'm going to modify my print a little bit over here. This may look different depending on your printer. Right now it is selected to print all pages, but if I go to here and press Custom, and then enter page 1 to page 2, it is only going to print those 2 pages. Now I see it is not going to print that map. Like I said, this might vary depending on the printer that you have, but there should be a way that you could modify that and only print the pages you want. I am actually going to go ahead and click Cancel. I won't be printing today. And I'm going to go back to my navigation results. Right next to our print button, we have a share button. And this would allow us to send these directions either to our mobile phone or to an email so that we could reference them later on. We could also copy that link as well. Now I'm going to go back to look at some of those other route options that we saw previously. So far, we have been looking at route number 1, but as we can tell, we have other route options. Let's take a look at route number 2. Here we see a slightly different route. There might be some different highways involved. We can see that it's 33 minutes and only 25 miles. It's nice to have options in case there's a particular highway you like to avoid. Maybe there's a lot of traffic on it, or some construction you know about. It's just nice to have some different options. We could take a look at route number 3 as well if we wanted to. We might not want to do this because it's 36 minutes and 29 miles. I'm going to go back to route number 1. If I want to swap my starting and end points, I can use this up and down arrow icon over here. This will change my starting point to the Midwest Genealogy Center, and my end point will be that address in Parkville. And I can easily swap that back. I can add stops on my route. Let's say that I also wanted to go to the Harry Truman Presidential Library. No need to know the address. If I start typing, I should see it pop up as a recommendation. Here is that second option. I just click on it, and it is now added to my route. And now I have an A, B, and C to my route. And I can change my stops by clicking and dragging them by these letters. And now the Harry Truman Library is the middle stop on my route here. I'm going to go ahead and click the Get Directions button just so we can see how directions look when you have multiple destinations. We can see here the total trip will take me 43 minutes and will be 26 miles. I can see that this first part of my route will take 35 minutes. That is from Parkville to the Truman Library. And if I scroll down, I can see that this second part of my journey will be 13 minutes. That is from the Harry Truman Library to the Midwest Genealogy Center. And we can see right here that we have 2 stops. I could print and share these just like I did earlier. Now I'm going to go back. And if I wanted to remove one of these stops, I could just hover over here on the right-hand side, and I'll get a little X. And if I click on that, it will remove one of those stops. Now my route is from Parkville to the Harry Truman Library. There are some different route settings that I can utilize as well within MapQuest. Here we see some different options. If I wanted to, I could change this from miles to kilometers. I am going to leave it on miles. And then I could avoid toll roads, highways, ferries. To show you how this works, I'm going to turn on the Avoid Highways button here. And I will click Apply Settings. And with that setting applied, my route will now be modified to try to avoid highways. And any new route I put in here would also try to avoid highways. We can see that this is going to take a little bit longer by avoiding those highways. But if that was my preference, this is a great option. So far, we've only seen travel by car, but MapQuest also has an option for individuals that will be walking. You can print step-by-step walking directions as well by clicking this little walking person icon. And this should modify our route to show the best walking path. I don't know how feasible this route would be. That's 9 hours and 20 minutes of walking. But if my destination was relatively closer to my starting point, the step-by-step walking directions could be more applicable. And just like with the driving directions, I could look at those here. I could print those off or share them to my email or phone. There are quite a few more directions just because it is trying to have you avoid busy roadways. I have some other options over here. This middle button will help me find my location. I get a little pop-up here. MapQuest wants to know my location. If I didn't want to enter my current location, I could just allow MapQuest to know that. It could make navigating slightly easier. Below that, I have my traffic button. Clicking on that, I can click one of these boxes. It will show me any traffic incidents. Let me zoom in a little bit here. This orange icon, it's kind of hard to see. That is construction. And then I have other little symbols on here that might let me know of possible slowdowns. And I have another option over here. I actually have a button for traffic slowdowns. That green shows me all the highways and how traffic is flowing. If it was red, I would know there was a slowdown. If I zoom in or out, I do lose that information. There is also a share button over here, another option for sharing. And I have a print button below that over here on the right-hand side. Unlike the step-by-step directions, this is actually only going to print out this map for me. And I can actually modify the map before I print it out by using this plus and minus sign right here. This would allow me to print that route on the map. I'm going to go back to my results. Besides clicking and dragging on the map, I could use this little compass feature to move north, east, south, or west. Clicking in the middle would reset the map. That could just be a handy feature when moving around in MapQuest. And that is MapQuest. It's a very handy way to get printed step-by-step directions. If you are going on a trip soon, I encourage you to give MapQuest a try and see how it will work for you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to follow our MCPL 360 Facebook page. We premiere new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you missed the premiere on Facebook, you can watch all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our MCPL Mo YouTube channel. This has been Brad. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.